Confidence is about how you see yourself. Welcome to the Uniquely Confident Podcast.
Positive energy and good vibrations from me to you. This is RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman, and welcome to the Uniquely Confident Podcast. Yo, it's another opportunity for us to give thanks and grace for being alive, yo. So I'm glad to be here in front of you one more time. And check this out. I'm super excited to be here because now I got my big bro with me, man. And you know, anytime I bring a guest, I bring somebody who's going to bring tremendous value to the conversation. So with that being said, I'm not going to waste no time. We're going to get right down to the work. I'm going to bring my man, my big brother out, Cory Hughes. What to do, my God? Welcome to the platform.
Man, what's good with it, man? It's always, you know what? Let me back up and say positive energy and good vibrations, man. Everybody that's watching this podcast, you can't be with the Imperfect Gentleman without wishing positive energy and good vibrations to everybody, man. So I'm just blessed to be here, man. And, just trying to make it do what it do, man. What's going on with you?
Hey, man, I'm excited because, yo, for real, it's something about the fact that I'm doing something now that's specific to my craft, right? Like we've been on other platforms together and speaking about different array of topics, but this one truly excites me because now we can really speak to my niche specific people, my audience, and I can really give them the side that people really don't get of people who've made success a reality in their life. So what this podcast is all about is about confidence. How to build it, also about character building and what that means and how is it important for us to move forward in life and how much we need to use those things and the tools that we have to go forward in life. So I'm just excited to have you on here because I've had the opportunity to get to know you over the last few months. And my brother, one thing you do exude is confidence. You see what I'm saying? I can even give you a short-term story of what happened recently because I'm in a network with men like yourself. So I had an opportunity to go to a networking event, right? Okay. I say networking because you're gonna find out in a second. And when I got there, I was just like, it was a bunch of hoopla. It was a bunch of things happening, people jumping around and fancy clothes on and things of that nature. And I remember myself 10 years before going to the same kind of event and just being at awe and amazed and struck and just so caught off guard that I wasn't able to see for what things truly were.
Right.
And this opportunity I had to walk in there, I realized I was like, wait a minute, I'm not caught up in the glitz and the glamour. Because what I thought didn't exist, now I see in our circle. I see men that look like myself and are successful. So what before I did not know existed, and I was so caught in a mesmerized by was the lights and the glitz and glamour. I now know the substance because I have a relationship with men like yourself.
Absolutely.
So when I went in there and I seen that everybody was just caught up in the awe, I just had to stand back by myself and just chill. I was like, nah, like I'm ready to get up out of here low key. Because a part of me was saying to myself at this stage of my life is like, yo, y'all don't know who I am. Like y'all don't know that greatness is really sitting in this audience. And like that wasn't me being cocky or arrogant. It was really me now understanding my true value about what I bring to the world.
Yeah.
And I realized that we was having a conversation and it was cool to meet people. But at the end of the event, we went outside and it was like almost like a photo event, like standing in front of cars and taking pictures of cars. And I was just like, that's not what I do. Like, this is not it. Like,
right.
I'm ready to pull up in mine. Like, I'm not ready to take a picture in yours and live a lifestyle over the internet for people that don't mean nothing to me.
Right.
So it really showed me that not only that I level up in mindset, but my confidence also grew by being around confident individuals like yourself. So my first question to you, Cory, is, no, I'm sorry, before we get into it, because the people don't know you like that, let the people know who you are, where you're from, big bro.
Yeah, man. So Cory Hughes, man, so good to meet y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to this amazing podcast. I'm excited to be here. Born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. Well, more so born in Chicago, Illinois, and partially raised there. Then we came down to Texas, man, and I went up to Missouri, played college football, came back, got married, got a couple of college degrees, had a couple of babies, started a couple of businesses, man. So been very active in the Black Lives Matter movement, been extremely active in ministry, pastored the church for years as well. And entrepreneurship, man, just really teaching people how to take their skill set to the next level. One of the things that I love to do is really help people discover their who, what, and why. Who are you? what is it that you're called to do, and why did God choose you? And so I help people discover those things because, man, I think that one of the worst things that we could do on this planet is come here and waste the time, the talent, and the gift that God gave us. And so I want you to leave this earth empty. I'm planning on leaving empty. And that's my passion, to help people leave their gifts here, because it's somebody that is depending on you being the best version of you. They can't be the best version of them unless they run into the best version of you. And so we need you. And that's what I help people understand, that we need you. The earth needs you. I need you. And that's what we're here for.
Hey, man. And that's fantastic, because my grandmother used to tell me all the time that the graveyard is a sad place, not because of the dead bodies that's in it, but all because of all the potential that lies in it. Yeah. And that's the one thing I do not want to do. I don't want to die with anything left in me, right? I even try our best. Even as now as entrepreneurs, sometimes we don't even try. It happens. We have to go to bed on empty. But it's a phenomenal feeling knowing you go to bed that you've done and you've given all you possibly can to your day and to your dreams, man. So, what you do is phenomenal, because it's inspiring, and it's also one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, because like I said before, now I can see it. Like before, I only seen successful athletes. I've only seen successful doctors and all these things that I was not trying to be. But once I seen an individual that looked like me, right, that talked like me, and it was actually accessible to, I can see and speak to now and realize that this is obtainable. Now I believe in myself a lot more, because I know it's possible, bro. So my first question for you is, what does confidence mean to you, bro? What does confidence mean to you?
Man, if I had to define confidence, just a little bit different from me. I think confidence is that against all odds mentality, right? And so maybe my perspective or my definition of confidence may be different from the people that are watching, but for me, because of the lifestyle that I live, because of how I came up, because of the adversity that I had to go through, because I came up eating surf sandwiches. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. I came up eating surf sandwiches and different things like that. I came up eating sugar sandwiches and sharing bath water. And, it was for me to be confident was challenging, because I didn't have the nicest clothes. We didn't live in the nicest neighborhood. We didn't drive the best cars. And so for me, I had to find confidence within the chaos. Right. And the way I found confidence within the chaos was I reminded myself, I told myself, I sold myself on myself and told myself, in spite of the adversity, I still will be successful. I used to tell my guys, man, whenever I played football, I had a really good friend of mine named Solomon, who was a better athlete. He was stronger, he was faster. But whenever we lined up against each other, I would always tell him, man, I'm prone to be victorious. If he watched this video, he would laugh right now, because every day in practice, I would tell him, man, I'm prone to be victorious. And basically what I was telling him is, I'm going to beat you on this route. Even though I knew he was stronger, even though I knew he was faster, even though I knew he was better. The difference was I had a confidence about myself. Right. That I went through, in spite of what giant I faced, in spite of what adversity I faced, I was confident that I was going to get through it. So for me, when someone asks me what confidence is, confidence for me is having that in spite of mentality, that I'm still going to be successful.
Man, and from what you tell me, bro, that's from the way how you were raised, right? That comes from the circumstances that you didn't have control of. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth of the matter is, I tell everybody, especially young black kids, like we have a crash course in things that other races will never even vouch or take their time or want to experience. Like, and because the truth of the matter is, we didn't voluntarily want to be put in those circumstances. Right. I don't think nobody wants to, right? I don't think that anyone voluntarily wants to grow up in a certain level of poverty. I don't think that no one wants to do that. But I believe that a certain level of confidence comes from that once you realize how much you're made of. Right. And I think that we learned on a certain level of life early in our stages of games that what we were made of, because we was tested in so many ways. That it wasn't like we wanted to learn because we were curious. We had to know because it was survival. It wasn't just because we wanted to. It was because of survival. So I'm glad you pointed that out, because people often ask, where does your confidence come from? And a lot of times I tell them, like, it's because of what I've been through. Like, really, because I've looked into a barrel of a gun. So a bill's not going to scare me. You dig what I'm saying? Like Like,
but you know, for me, man, and I want to make sure that your viewers get this as well. You have looked down the barrel of the gun and you survived it.
right.
So when a bill comes, it doesn't scare you. But I think the older you get and the more introspection you have for your life, you understand that the real root of our confidence is in our existence and who God said we are.
Facts.
Right. So we understand that the reason you can look down the barrel of a gun and still survive is because God said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
Prosper, right. That's right.
The reason you can do those type of things is because God spoke a word over your life. And as long as God is speaking, that means you're still breathing, you're still living. And so where my confidence comes, because as you were speaking, I was just sitting there thinking, many of us who grew up in our demographic, in our time, right?
Right.
Sometimes the things that tried to take our confidence was our family members. Sometimes the things that tried to take our confidence was our environment. Sometimes the things that tried to take our confidence was the people that were in our inner circle. And we had to fight against those things. And what helped us fight against those things was that in spite of what we were experiencing, God had placed a portion of him inside of us to remind us that if everybody leaves you, I still got you. And so I just wanted to kind of point that out because you said that, I think, man, you know, my confidence does come from me overcoming, but what made me overcome?
Right.
It was the fact that God is the fact that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world.
Facts.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, bro, and like when I told one of my homegirls I used to go to church with back in the day that I was actually into this helping men build confidence, her first words to me, because she's super, super spiritual and I love her to death. And she's like, yo, as long as you understand that you're gonna lead them back to where it all comes from. Like as long as you're leading them back to where this true strength, their true strength comes from, they would definitely be confident because it's about not just who you are, right? It gives you confidence about whose you are.
That's right.
Because that's the one thing I've learned even in myself. Like I didn't look down the barrel of that gun just by myself. There was God did that was in there in the midst of all that. Because if it was just me, I'd be dead. I wouldn't be here right now.
But think about it like this. Even let's take it away from a barrel of a gun. Let's just say you go to Miami and you go to the stadium where the Miami Heat play. And let's just say your name is not Rod, but your name is Dwayne Wade Jr. When you walk up to that stadium and you look at that security guard to get onto the floor, you're going to have more confidence, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are.
Right.
Being Dwayne Wade's sons gives you access that Rod can't get.
Right.
And so, number one, my confidence is not just in me, but my confidence that I can get season tickets, my confidence that I can get to the locker room, my confidence that I can get on this court is because of whose I am. Right. And so sometimes our confidence gets us access to places that we traditionally wouldn't get access to. And the reason that we can walk, the scripture says, come boldly before my throne of grace. The reason you can come boldly is because you know who you are. When at my office, I'm in my house right now, but at my office, I've got people that work for me. And here's the reality. Before they come in my door, they got to knock on my door. Now, my children, sometimes they don't knock, they just bust in. And they feel like they can do that, not because of who they are, but because of whose they are. My being connected to me gives them access to what other people don't have access to. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So it gives them another level of confidence. When my daughter Katie walks into my office, Katie ain't she can sit at any desk she want to sit at. Right. She can pick up any phone she wants to pick up because they know that's my daddy's office. Right. And so part of our confidence comes from us overcoming what we've experienced, but also another layer of confidence comes from knowing who we belong to.
Ah, man. And like, so literally, like I was about to ask you, right? So being that you answer the next question. So my next question for you, Cory, is that being that this podcast is named Uniquely Confident, what makes you unique, Cory? Like there are so many things that I've seen off the rip, but just for you, I like when people be able to express it themselves. What about you that makes Cory Hughes unique?
If I could say there was one thing that made me unique, as it relates to confidence, is that what we're talking about?
Yes, sir. Like what about you uniquely that gives you the confidence that you have currently?
I would say one of the things that probably gives me that level of confidence is I have never failed. I've never failed in life, and that failure wasn't connected to a promotion in the next season. Does that make sense? So what makes me uniquely confident is that I know that failure is part of my success. So when something fails, God has created this history with me, this baseline that failure is not my portion. But sometimes that failure is for me to be humbled or for me to learn something, to see something that I didn't see before, only for him to take me to the next level. So the reason I walk in so much confidence and walk in so much boldness and walk in so much faith is because the old folks used to say this. When I look back over my life,
come on now.
and I see all the things he's brought me over and brought me from, I got hope and confidence for tomorrow. If God is the same today, yesterday, and forevermore,
come on, Cory,
then the same God that got me through in the past can get me through in the future.
He's got to do it.
So it's just another level of confidence. And listen, it's intimidating to some people. Some people call it borderline arrogance, but I call it being borderline proud of my father.
And you know what, Cory? I'm glad you even said that, because that right there we're going to address too in this conversation. Because there's such a dramatic difference between arrogance and confidence.
Yeah.
Now, see, the way I've explained to my guys is the only difference between arrogance and confidence is self-esteem, right? Because self-esteem is the respect and honor that you have for yourself currently, right? So if you have all this confidence in the world, but you don't respect yourself, we're going to qualify you and call you arrogant.
Right.
But it's not until that you raise the level of self-respect that you have for yourself that people around you will start respecting you. So I want to know your standpoint on it. What's the difference between cockiness and arrogance to you, Cory?
So I think the difference between confidence and arrogance is this. Confidence is realizing that God has given me the skill set, the ability. I've got the history. I've got the fight. I've got the desire. I'm confident that I can, not because of who I am, but because of whose I am.
Right.
Arrogance says I can do this because I'm so great and I'm so wonderful and I'm so this and I'm so this.
That ego.
Great difference. The confidence, it looks the same. It looks the same, but it's completely different.
Right.
See, you can't be arrogant. See, let me just say this. You can be arrogant, but arrogance really changes to humility very quickly when God shows you that you didn't get there really by yourself.
Right.
When you think you can do it by yourself and God starts eliminating your support system and everybody that was supporting you silently starts to move away from you and you begin to crumble, then you'll stop being arrogant. It'll cause humility.
Right.
Humility. And then when God will take your humility, watch this, take your humility, and he will take your experience of being humble, and then he'll begin to build you up again. And what used to be arrogant now becomes confidence in him. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes total sense, Cory. I'm glad you broke it down that way, because for real, we get so caught up and we're quick to call somebody arrogant. But I think that really happens because you don't know what they've been through.
Yeah.
Like when someone sees me and bigging myself up, I'm going to say I'm the best confidence character coach builder in the world. I'm not saying that to demote someone else, right? That's not me saying to demote someone. That's me actually uplifting myself. And you don't know what I'm going through mentally that I need to tell myself that to get to me where I am. Yeah. So I think we got to understand and be more sympathetic to people and less judgmental, right? Because we don't know what they're going through or why they're saying what they're saying about themselves or to themselves.
Man, people are always intimidated by what they don't understand.
Talk about it.
People will always criticize
Facts.
What they don't understand. And so what I've learned to do along my journey is I've learned to put in earbuds. And I just don't hear the hate.
Right. Go ahead and hate.
And I do a litmus test on myself periodically to make sure that I'm confident and I'm not arrogant. See, your children will tell you whether you're arrogant or not. Wow. Your spouse will tell you whether you're arrogant or not. The people that really love you, see, you got to be around people that tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear.
Right.
An arrogant person likes to have a bunch of do boys and do women around him. But a confident person likes to have people around him that will challenge him, that will keep him humble, that will correct him. And when you become that person, you learn not to listen to the hate. Man, can I say niggas on here?
Hell yeah, you can say niggas on here.
Niggas is gonna hate regardless, man. You know, you can be doing right, somebody go hate. You can be doing wrong, somebody go hate. You can be doing nothing, somebody's go hate. And so once you come to the epiphany and the revelation that hate is just part of the process, it stops impacting you.
Right.
It don't bother you anymore. You know, like, okay, you don't like me, right? You don't like me today, you may love me tomorrow. That's just how fickle people are. So when it comes to confidence, man, when it comes to you building yourself and building your brand and maybe building your confidence, because sometimes what people may not understand is that Rod may be saying he's the best because Rod is trying to counteract the voice that told him that he was worthless for years.
Right.
If nobody told Rod he was good, then maybe Rod had to start telling himself he was good. And now, because people don't understand what he's been through, they label him and judge him and call him arrogant. And that's not arrogant. That's just self-love.
That's all.
Maybe they should try it.
Maybe. The world might be a better place if they try it. I'm just saying. Yeah. But yo, Cory, so like I have a question, man. And this question right here, it digs a little deep, man. But what was the hardest situation that you went through in your life that gave you the confidence that you have right now? Because it's always one of the two hardest things that we deal with in life that really promote us and really give us that real confidence in ourselves to move forward.
Man, I've been through so much, man. But I'll tell you, one of the most challenging seasons that I experienced was burying my daughter, Hosanna. That was probably the hardest time in my life. You know, from ministry to my marriage to just conceptualizing a child less than 1 foot long in a casket, having a funeral. It was challenging, bro. You know, it was probably the most painful experience I've had in my life. Then after that, you know, my wife and I, we had my daughter Cadence, and even that was fearful, you know, just for 9 months, wondering if she was going to make it, you know, if she was going to survive, you know, maybe if we had moved too fast. But I tell you what, man, the truth of the matter is I wrote some of my best messages, some of my best books, some of my best business ideas came out of maybe the most painful season I ever had. So the reason I tell you, when you say what makes my confidence so unique, when I say that every failure that I have is always followed by a great victory. I lost a child, but then God gave me another one. I lost a business. God gave me another one, you know, and so I'm grateful for that. But it's probably one of those darkest times in life, bro. You know, but we got through it, man.
Hey, man, and I definitely don't want to take the turn for the dark, but I always want to point out that no matter what people see you as, because for real, Cory, when people look at your life, especially from afar, they only see what you let them in to see. You dig what I'm saying? And then especially when you're preaching or when you're out and about, they only see you for those moments. Yeah. They don't get a chance to meet the man. They don't get a chance to see the struggle that the man goes through in order to bring the word forth that you bring forth. Right. Because you couldn't preach about certain things if you didn't go through certain things.
You know, it's funny you say it, man. I just created a meme that I'll probably be posting tomorrow. And I said, success doesn't come without the struggle.
Right.
Promotion doesn't come without pain.
Nope.
Victory doesn't come without betrayal. And oftentimes I've told people, we want to get to the mountaintop because the mountaintop is symbolic of success.
Right.
But we don't understand that some of our greatest assets is in the valley.
Wow.
The river is in the valley.
Well, the water of life, right?
The river is in the valley, right?
Right.
The animals are in the valley. So your what you need is in the valley. But what you have to do is you have to stop avoiding the valley, because the valley prepares you for the journey to the mountaintop.
Right.
Right. And so for me, somebody asked me the other day, I was on Clubhouse, and they said, man, why do you always talk about pain? I said, because I want to prepare you that if your desire is success, pain is coming.
Right.
Right. I don't want you to be fooled that it's all great and it's all wonderful and it's all, everybody's always cheering you on. No, it's some folk that's going to be mad that you're successful. Absolutely. And they're going to turn their back on you. It's some family members that are going to be envious and jealous of your success, and they will bring up your past. And you got to be prepared for that. And that's why the Bible is very clear when it says many are called, but few are chosen. Everybody may not be chosen for this level of success, this level of glory, this level of whatever it is that you're looking for. And so you got to be careful. Be careful what you ask for.
You ain't lying about that, see. Yo, let me tell you, man, like that right there just makes me realize like I'm moving in the right path, bro. Because nothing in life is given without struggle. Nothing. And if you think back to everything, every growth process comes with pain.
Absolutely.
Like right now, like as we all know, I'm going back into physical fitness right now. I'm getting my behind whipped, and I'm 3 months in. And my personal trainer, Cory, has been kicking my behind. And shout out to him because he's a sponsor of this episode of the podcast, Quantum Fitness. I'll do all that later on. But let me tell you, after I realized like the breaking down of the body, is not where the strength comes. It's in the rest and the recovery. And after the rest and recovery is where the beauty and the strength lies at. But I had to go through the trauma of the breaking down of the muscle in order to get to that point.
But here's something that most people don't understand, which is great, what you just said. But let's even simplify it even more. There's no building without breaking down.
Facts.
There's no building without breaking down. So your muscles will never swell unless they're torn.
Right.
They'll never swell unless they're broken down. What causes your muscles to swell up is that you break them down by working them, right. and it causes them, more oxygen to flow, more blood to flow, and your muscles become bigger. But if you want to get bigger, you got to be broken.
Right.
It's just that simple.
That's it. You can't avoid it, and that's why I'm so glad that your approach is what it is, Cory. When you let people know, like, yo, listen, pain is gonna come. Because it's inevitable. But the best part of pain and also in trouble is that, like you said, the old folks would say that trouble don't last always.
And Rod, let me say this, Rod. Let me tell you why. Because it just came to me. Let me tell you why it's so important.
What's that?
Nobody told me pain was part of success. Nobody told me when I started pastoring that betrayal was part of being a shepherd. So I thought I was doing something wrong. I'm like, I got all these businesses. I'm taking care. Why are y'all leaving? Like, what? Why are you? What? No, right. Nobody prepared me for that. So I talk about it in this manner because I don't want people to get surprised the way I was surprised when you experience those things. I talk about it in front of my kids. I talk about it on Clubhouse. I want them to know, because success is part of who you are. But understand, success does not come without sacrifice. Success does not come without a struggle. And if you think you're going to acquire a sustainable success without those two attributes, you're fooling yourself.
Man, listen. Hey, and I tell you right now, like, I can vouch. I've only been out on this entrepreneurial journey now for a few months now, and to God be the glory, I haven't had any real hard hurdles just yet, but I know they're coming. But the one thing I can always lean back on is the fact that I can hear I've been prepared. The one thing I can never say, and especially in this space of being around men like you, is I just say it was, well, I wasn't prepared for this. I know that those days are coming. I know that these things are coming, and I think that that's another level of confidence when you're prepared, right? When you prepare yourself for anything, you have a certain level of confidence. Because I know for a fact, when I was getting ready for basketball camp, like, only way I was going to say I was ready for camp is when I hit 50 straight free throws without missing. When I can do that, I'm prepared. I feel prepared to go into a game no matter how tired I am and get on the line and knock it down. But it's the work that I did to prepare myself. And I think that that's what a lot of us, we want confidence in things that we're not ready to put work in for.
Right.
And that right there is definitely a recipe for disaster. How do I know? You're looking at somebody that likes to skip steps and stages. That's me. I'm definitely, in my characteristics, one that says, you know what, if I can see A from B to A to C, I'm going to definitely skip over B and go straight to C, because my personality is I just want to move forward. But the truth of the matter is, if I don't take each step for what it's worth, I'm always going to hurt myself in the long run.
You can't ever cheat the process, man.
Nah, definitely can't.
Cheat the process. Some people want to do it. And listen, I was the same way. You know, hey man, listen, I ain't got to go through what everybody else went through. That was me, Ron, when I was a kid. Man, listen, just because you went through that don't mean I got to go through that.
Right, I'm different.
Keep living. All right, you may skip the process in 3 things, but when you get to 4, all 3 processes you skip go catch up with you at 4.
Yes, indeed.
So just keep living is what my grandma used to say. So don't ever try to skip the process, man. Embrace it, because in every step of the process is something to make you better.
Right.
To make you strong.
That's where you get it from. That's where the confidence comes from. The confidence comes from success, because success breeds confidence and confidence breeds success.
Absolutely.
So if you're preparing yourself to succeed and you actually reach some level of it, your confidence is going to grow, and that's going to raise you to a new level. But if you're not actually prepared and reading that step to get to that next level, you're really shortchanging yourself in the long run. So I'm glad we point that out, because that was one thing that I had a problem with. And I'm being transparent. Even at now, in stages of my life, I still got to catch myself. Or you're like, you know what? All right, you're skipping stages. Go back to that. Let's get back to it, because you know you ain't get to where you're supposed to just yet.
And man, even my mentor, he told me, he said it publicly one time. He was like, listen, man, you guys cannot skip certain steps to success.
Right.
You can't just get up there and start preaching to thousands of people without studying.
Right.
You can't get up there and start preaching without praying.
Right.
Right. You know, I mean, those are certain, without sacrifice, you know, there are certain things that are necessary. And some people get a gift and they think because my gift is good, then I can skip the steps. And the thing is, you can only fake it for so long. But if you don't have no substance behind that gift, if you don't have any substance behind that life that you claim, it's going to come out at some point, whether that's business or whether it's preaching, whether it's coaching, whether it's being a husband or a wife. If you're not sacrificing and putting in the work, like having those conversations, me and my wife have all kinds of conversations, because I don't want to skip not one step or leave one stone unturned. Right. And where this discipline comes from is a person that tried to skip steps my whole life. Right.
But yo, so Cory, let me ask you a question. And this is gonna be one of the last 2. What do you think of the word integrity when you talk about it, then, bro? What does integrity mean? How does integrity play a part in your confidence?
Man, integrity is so big for me, man. If you don't have integrity, I don't even want you in my circle. Integrity for me is doing what you say you're gonna do, even if no one is looking.
Right.
And even if they stop expecting you to do it. Integrity is just being honest with self.
Yes.
Keeping it, you know, time on club, keep it a buck. That's integrity, man. Having integrity. Having integrity says you paid me $100 too much. There it is. And integrity says I shorted you $50. Integrity says this is what they told me to do, and I'm going to do it.
Right.
Even if I know there's a potential that if I do something different, I won't get caught. But because I have integrity, I'm going to do the right thing. The reason this is so important, Rod, I just had a conversation with my son in the garage, and I told him, I said, man, we live in a life that comes full circle. The scripture is very clear when it says, be not deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sow, he shall also reap. Facts. So if you reap integrity, you will sow. If you sow integrity, you'll reap integrity, right? But if you sow discord and dishonesty and lying and manipulating, then you will reap that in your business, in your children, in your marriage, in your community, in your coaching platform, in your nonprofit platform. You're gonna reap all of that, and you're gonna be sitting up there trying to figure out where it came from. And all I can go be able to tell you is, you remember that time you didn't think integrity was important?
Right.
That's where it came from. And so for me, man, I think integrity is big, man. If you tell me something in confidence, integrity says, I don't even tell my wife.
Facts.
If you tell me something in confidence, integrity says, I'm not running your business to nobody because I got integrity. And I'm going to do exactly what I said I was going to do. If I said I was coming, integrity says that my son lives 2 hours away from me. And it takes me, when I get done working out, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. His lunch is at 11. I leave straight there and go to have lunch with him in spite of the traffic, in spite of how I feel. You know why? Because I told him I was coming.
Right. That's your word.
That's integrity, bro. And if you ain't got integrity, man, what do you have? This is the question.
You ain't got nothing, Cory. And that's why I'm so excited that you explained and went in on so hard on integrity, because one thing I do know, Cory, is that integrity makes it easy to be confident because you know it's not a second guess about what you're going to do.
100%.
Like, insecurities come from when you don't know something, right? When you don't know a part of yourself. But when you understand that you operate with a high level of integrity, it cancels out so many questions that it can even be there for yourself. Because you know you operate on based upon what you said you are going to do, what your standards are as a man. So I really hope and pray that everyone listening to this podcast takes away, especially that much on the integrity portion of understanding that integrity makes it a lot easier for you to be confident in yourself. A lot easier.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Cory. How easy is it to be yourself knowing that you operate on a high level of integrity?
It's so easy, man. Integrity makes it easy to get on this podcast and speak because I know I ain't got nobody that can come back and question anything I said.
Right.
Integrity makes it easy for me to get on Clubhouse and talk about my wife, and because I know I don't have a side piece. Integrity makes it easy for me to talk about my business because I ain't robbed from nobody or stole from nobody. I mean, we've had business deals to go bad, but my integrity has always been intact. Integrity says that even if the deal went bad, that I would take out of my personal pocket to pay you a business deal because I said I would do it. So it makes it easy for you to be yourself when you are integral.
Ah, man. And that right there is a mic drop. I would drop my mic, but my mic it probably wouldn't make it if I dropped it. but what I'm saying is like, mic drop for real, Cory, because I've learned that right now. When I was trucking and jobbing in the street and doing people wrong, it was hard. It was hard to even want to bring my head above the water because I was too scared somebody's coming up on me because of what I've done.
Right.
But the fact that now I'm living my life in such a way where, like you said, there is no side chick to come about. There is no one that can say that RJ is doing anything in the background because there is no background to be in. Like that makes my life that much easier.
Don't that feel good? Hey, can we take a commercial break and just talk about how good it feels? Yeah. You ain't gotta hide your phone. You ain't gotta chuck and dive. You ain't gotta none of that. It just feel good to have integrity, man. Yes. You know, child support is paid. I ain't gotta duck the police. You know, my tickets is paid. I ain't gotta duck the sheriff's office.
Right.
You know, just integrity. You know, now that is not to suggest that we don't go through hard times and have struggles and that we're perfect, because no, we are far from perfect. But we are striving to be as integral as possible. That I said it, I did it. And I want my wife and my family and my community to know that I'm so integral that if I said it, they don't even have to see it because they know if I said it, I already did it. Does that make sense? Absolutely. And we should want to be like that because that's the type of God that we serve, right?
Facts.
That's the type of God that we serve. If we are trying to be like God, then we should strive to do what we say we're going to do.
Right. And let me tell you, Cory, like, there's nothing more powerful than the people around you believing in you. There's nothing more powerful than that. Like I have some men that come into the program, Cory, and they ask, why is that the people around me don't believe in me? I always ask them, well, have you given them any reason to? Yeah. Like, is your word your bond? Like, when you say something, can they count on that? Because the truth is, confidence is contagious. If you believe in yourself and you start believing in what you do, because you do what you say you're gonna do, that same feeling gonna rub off on everyone else, and they can almost start believing in everything you say, because guess what? You have a high level of integrity, and they start to see that, and they can bank on it, and now they're confident in your word.
And I just want to speak to the man that has come to Rod and had that situation. It's not too late to change.
Right. Talk to him.
Oftentimes people judge you off who you used to be and not who you are. It's unfortunate. It doesn't feel good. It's not fair. You know, so we are the kings and the queens of petty when it comes to holding people accountable to the mistakes they made, but not acknowledging and appreciating the progress they've made as well.
Right.
And so for the king is watching this man is making progress, man, keep going. Right? Keep going, keep being integral, keep doing what you say you go do, keep showing up when you say you go show up, keep going when you say you go. And eventually they'll begin to see who you are, right? And so I know that's hard to be in a situation where people no longer believe in you. I've had situations like that before when it was really no fault of my own, where maybe a business deal went bad or the economy changed and people that I hired, I had to let go of, and they were disappointed because they believed in my vision. Well, my vision didn't outlast the economy crashing. Right?
I didn't foresee that part.
I didn't see that coming, right? And I understand that you're angry and upset, but I'm sorry. It had nothing to do with it. It's the industry that we're in, you know? So that happens, man. But just keep your head up, because I was told a long time ago that the cream always rises to the top.
Yes, indeed.
And the truth of the matter is, man, I've yet to see the cream stay at the bottom.
Yeah, facts.
Keep that in mind.
Hey, and one thing I've learned too is when you're dealing with the confidence, we talk about, they say there's no reset buttons in life, and I beg to differ, because you can repress the reset button in this very moment. See, we expect people to see our moments, right? We expect people to see our turnaround. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of our turnarounds, no one's going to witness but us. Because in these moments, like right now, if you're listening, you can turn your life around right now. If you make a conscious decision to say, you know what, I'm fed up what I'm doing, and I'm going to reset my life right now in this point and moment, you have the opportunity to. Yes, people around you might not see it. They might not know it right away. But the power in it is that the fact that you and God know. And as long as you and God know, then nobody else need to know about it.
Hey, Rod, listen, man, you listen. I want you to record this and send this part. What I'm about to say needs to be your teaser for this podcast.
Let's get it. Here go the clip. Let's go.
Here go the clip right here. What we must understand is that when we hit the reset button, it is not a start over. Now, let me just make sense of this. I used to play video games, okay? And the video game that I used to play all the time is Call of Duty. All right. And in this game called Call of Duty, when you started to play the game, if things got tough and you had to go through certain checkpoints. You go through checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, checkpoint 3. And if you got killed at checkpoint 3, what I love about this game is it didn't send you back to checkpoint 1, but you started over right where you got killed.
Wow.
And we started over now having an advantage of knowing where the enemy was coming from. And so the reason it's so important to hit the reset button every now and then is not because you're starting over, but God has given you a different vantage point. That's why I said in the very beginning of this, that in every failure is a seed to success. Because it was in that failure that I learned to be successful, because when I hit the reset button, or when I died, or when the company went belly up, when I went through a divorce, when I had a bad circumstance with my children, the next time I faced it, I knew what direction the enemy was coming from, and I was prepared for the battle. And the next time I didn't lose at checkpoint 3. Not to suggest you won't lose at 6, 7, or 8, but if you lose at 8, you won't have to go back to 1. If you lose at 7, you don't have to go back to 1. You'll go back to the place where you lost at, and you gain life where you lost, but you also gain a perspective of life that you did not have before you lost. I hope that makes sense to somebody, man, that the good thing that you can find God even in a video. right? The fact that when you die, they don't make you start all the way over, because you can never unlearn what you've learned. You can never unsee what you've seen. You can never unexperience what you've experienced it. But what God does is he hits the reset button and he takes you back to the place of your failure to give you another opportunity to succeed. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Rod?
Yo, Cory.
I get excited sometimes. I'm sorry.
Listen. You over here. I'm ready to pull out the organ, the drums, and back you up somehow or another. Because for real, you explain that marvelously, Cory. For real, because so many men believe this, Cory, that I gotta start all over. That mindset is depressing. That mindset will actually hinder you. But if you just realize, like Cory said, the reset is not a take back, but it's a reset from where you fell off at. And that right there is a blessing in itself.
Because Rod, let me give you an example.
Right.
I've had as many as 42 tax locations. Okay. I got one right now. And there was one intentional. And some would say maybe I'm starting over or Cory's hitting the reset button. But guess what? I can never unlearn what it took for me to get to 42 locations.
Right.
So
right.
Now if I started all over, I'm starting with 10 years of knowledge that will propel me. I know what to do
and what not to do.
And now I know what not to do. So even if I started all the way over, I'm starting in a better position now than I did then.
Yes.
I know now what I didn't know then, and I got to 42. Knowing what I know now, I may get to 142. And so that's why you don't worry about what people got to say when it seems like you're falling. Because sometimes God will cause you to fall forward.
Come on.
Sometimes God will cause you to push back. So it seems like you're getting pushed back, but he's pulling you back like a bow and arrow so he can release you forward faster. So all I'm saying, man, is it's about perspective.
Right.
That's why when you ask me what confidence is, I said, for me, confidence is I'm going to make it in spite of.
For sure.
I'm going to get through it in spite of, because God has shown me before that he never means to demote me, maybe to humble me,
right,
only to promote me. And I believe God's going to do the same thing for anybody watching this podcast right now.
Yo, listen, I'm not even going to say I hope. I know that this podcast is going to bless someone's spirit tremendously. It's going to bless the man out there that's really, really questioning himself because of that reset button. He's questioning where he's going to end up at, or he's scared of going back to the beginning. But at the end of the day, if you have the integrity, right, you have the mindset, and you have the fortitude to just believe in yourself, and not just yourself, believe who you belong to, right? And if you don't know that, get in contact. We're not sitting here telling that you got to be religious. You got to go do all this and the third, but what we're telling you is find the power that is greater than you. Find the being that's more powerful than you are and tap in.
Right on.
One that's going to tell you who to believe in. What I'm going to tell you is that go pray to someone. Go. I don't care what you call them. Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha. I don't care. But
the man in the sky, whatever you call them.
Whatever you call them, my prayer is that you call on them. Because once you have that backing and understanding of whose you are, life will change tremendously, because I'm living proof of it. Cory's living proof of it. And now we sit here on this platform just to really spread the good word that you don't have to be where you are forever. Where you are now is not where you're going to be if you make a decision in this moment to change. Yo, Cory, man, you have blessed this platform, and I truly appreciate you, man. We're coming down to the last 10 minutes. And what I love to do on the space is that I want to give you opportunity to just talk to the young men out there that's lacking their confidence, Cory. Give them a little bit, man. Get a little pour from your heart a little bit. I know you've poured already, but pour from your heart into the young men that just don't have confidence in themselves and are looking for it in some way, some shape, form, or fashion.
Man, all I'm going to say to those young men is, man, I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be overlooked, to feel not heard, to feel not loved, to feel not appreciated, to feel like you're not enough, to feel like even your best is not enough. I know what it feels like to feel like you're not tall enough, you're not strong enough, You don't perform well enough. You can't sing well enough. I mean, whatever it is, I've been there to be standing in a crowd and feel like you're all alone. To be the head of your household and have no idea where you're leading them to. To not even know what it means to be a husband, but you got someone that you call wife. I've never seen a real father, but I got kids. I know the feeling, man. I have been there. I know that you lack confidence because nobody is telling you that you're good. Nobody is telling you what is normal on the next level. It's like this, man. It's like, I tell women all the time that if a woman is pregnant and she doesn't have other women around her that are pregnant, she'll think that morning sickness means that she's losing the baby. When her ankles begin to swell and her body begins to swell up, she may not know that that's normal. And so it's not that you lack confidence. You lack a model for normality. You lack somebody to tell you that it's actually normal not to have confidence for a season. It's actually normal not to feel heard. It's actually normal to go through this process and go through these pains because there's a season coming in your life where the people that tried to take your confidence, God will cause you to be mute to them, where you can't hear them. And then you'll begin to hear a small, still voice that will begin to tell you who you are, that you're the head and you're not the tail, that you are above and not beneath, that you're the lender and not the borrower, that you're strong and that you're mighty. And then you will begin to believe in yourself, not because of what they said, but because of what he said.
Right.
It's actually normal. I don't want you to give up, though. I don't want you to throw in the towel. I don't want you to feel like you've been waiting too long. I don't want you to do that, because when you give up, what you're telling God is, God, I don't trust you for my tomorrow. I don't trust you that you can turn it around in my tomorrow because of my yesterday. So I just want to encourage you, man, that I know what it's like. 20 years ago, I would have never got on this video and talked like this. 25, 30 years ago, I would have never spoke like this because I just wasn't confident. I remember one time, Rod, and I'm wrapping up right here. I remember one time when I preached my first sermon, my first message, my pastor came to me and he said to me, he said, man, that was a great message. He said, you just missed the celebration at the end. And I said, what do you mean? He said, at the end, we wanted you to go, and the Bible says.
A flat.
And what I found myself doing, Rod, young man watching this, what I found myself doing, brother, is practicing in the bathroom a celebration that wasn't authentic to me. And it wasn't until I realized that what works for you doesn't necessarily have to work for me. I became free. I became liberated. And I understood that the gift that God gave me didn't match the gift that God gave him. And I don't have to try to mirror his gift. I just got to perfect mine.
Yes.
And the reason you're still watching this podcast right now and you're sharing it and you're in the comments as you hear me speak is not because I tried to mirror his, it's because I embraced and perfected mine. And that's what you got to do. You got to find out who you are, what makes you different, why God created you, and embrace that thing and walk in that thing. That's where you'll find your confidence.
Yo, that is why I brought you. Yo, Cory, I can't thank you enough, because this is mandated from now, a part of my criteria to my program. This episode will be part. You have to hear this. Like, this message has to be heard, yo, because, yo, Cory, it's normal. It's normal not to have confidence in the season. Yo, Cory, that right there, if that isn't even expressed in anywhere else, that has to be expressed here and all across the world, because that right there will give us more confidence to know that it's going to be times where you're not as confident in yourself as you think you should be. But if you hold fast to what you know you are, everything else will come to pass and to fruition.
Absolutely.
Yo, bro, thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man.
Let everybody know where they can find you at, man. I know you gave them an introduction, but let everybody know where you can find you at and how they can support you, bro.
Man, listen, you can find me anywhere, man. I'm all over the place. Listen.
Mega nigga.
Cory L. Hughes on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse. You can follow me, man. I got a coaching platform. I do free coaching every morning. At least 3 to 5 people. I help them discover the who, what, and why. Not just in life, but in business and relationship. Listen, man, I just love people. And I want to do a quick shout out real quick. I'm getting ready to do a trucking seminar.
Yes.
A Trucking. Anybody wants to know anything about trucking, man, run over to my Instagram page, my Facebook page, sign up for the seminar. I'm only locking 40 people in this time, and I'm going to teach you how to run a successful trucking business. If you've been watching the podcast and you see me grab my phone every now and then, it's because I got drivers and brokers hitting me and all that good stuff, man. It's part of running the business, part of multitasking. I want to show you how to be great. Pull up on me. Pull up on me.
Yo, listen, for real, for everybody out there that's talking about they're looking for a new way to get things done, there's a way to get it done. He just showed it. He just told you there is a way. And let me tell y'all, if there's anything that he's passionate about, it's helping people, y'all. So listen, find yourself in a position to be helped. Position yourself, y'all. Be in the space. Cory, check his Instagram out. Get on his link and make sure you be in the space for that webinar. Because I'm telling you, it's gonna definitely change your life if you're looking for to make a new income for yourself. So listen,
it's bag, baby.
Listen, it's all about the bag. It's not all, but it's mostly about the bag, because without the bag, there's no impact, and there's less impact with the less income you have. So with that being said, we are trying to get more income so we can make more impact. I appreciate you, big bro. You definitely came through as usual and held me down. I thank you more. I love you more every day. Thank you so much, King.
Man, I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the invite, man. I always love being on your platform, man. Y'all make sure you follow my boy, man, and share this podcast with everybody you know, any man lacking confidence. That's RJD, the imperfect gentleman, the confidence coach, man.
Yo, listen, I appreciate it. You heard what that man said. So check this out. We about to get up out of here, but don't you ever forget, confidence is all about how you see yourself. Thank you so much for joining us on the Uniquely Confident Podcast. I am your host, RJD, the imperfect gentleman, the character and confidence builder coach. And this has been Uniquely Confident Podcast. To my man, Cory Hughes, thank you once again. And to everybody else out there, until I see you again, you know my motto, be good to yourself and the ones around you. But if you can't be good to the people around you, that's okay. Just get those folk from around you. Yo, we up out of here. Peace, y'all.
Gang, gang.
Gang.